My name is Vaughan Smiles, and today I will be talking about an Australian sporting personality. I have picked Darren Lockyer to be my sporting personality. I have based my project around the autobiography written by Darren Lockyer. I have also used my knowledge from my sport management tutorials, websites, and journal articles for sporting information. I have selected Darren Lockyer for rather personal reasons. As I am a follower of rugby and play rugby, I thought it would be fitting to select a personality in rugby. Another reason to why I selected Darren was because he led the Queensland Maroons and his club, being the Brisbane Broncos, to many major victories as the captain. He is also a Queensland legend and is somebody I look up to as a role model and as a player. Darren can be seen to be an influence for me, but he also had his own influences. His spanned from the scout who picked him up at a young age, being Cyril Canal, to his coach of many years, who was Wayne Bennett. He also had family members who played a part in influencing him. His dad was said to be the one that got Darren interested into sports. Darren also mentioned he also had his own role models of the game, those being the likes of Wally Lewis, and Brad Fittler. The main reason for this project is to have a look at the sport delivery systems that Darren had in his career. Sport delivery systems are factors that are in place for the development of all who may play sport. The development factor doesn't just mean getting people to the elite level, but also looking at the ways to sustain lifetime involvement in the sport. That can vary from being the equipment manager to the captain of the first grade squad. Sport delivery systems also look at social trends, ways to improve the game with changes over time, as well as accompanying participant skill levels, no matter what they may be. One example of that is seen to be the competition formatting or structure of the game. Sport delivery systems also have a look at sport at local, state, and national level. Just before I go with Darren Lockyer's profile regarding sport delivery systems, I'll just put a little background to him. Darren Lockyer was a boy from a small town. He was just an active teenager who was always playing sport, no matter what type of game it was. Darren got involved from the influence of his dad, who was a first grader for the AFL club in his town. Darren was picked up as a teenager by Cyril Canal. Cyril Canal was a scout for the Brisbane Broncos who saw great potential in Darren at a young age. This is around the time when Darren moved to Broma, where he played football. Darren made his NRL debut when he was 18 years of age and played at fullback for the Brisbane Broncos in his first 7 years at the club. He then switched to 5'8", where he played the rest of his career. Cyril Canal was Darren's pathway to the Broncos and the NRL. Darren used the pathway to the elite level to the full extent. Cyril picked him up due to the skill level he saw he was playing in the lower grades. Once he was scouted, he got the development he needed to become a professional player in the NRL. In Darren's case, it worked out perfectly, being scouted. But on the other hand, being scouted can also have a negative effect on young players. With that said, the expectations and pressure to perform on that young player is much greater than those who aren't scouted and can fight their way up. Before Darren made it to the NRL, he also had a stack of achievements underneath his name. Darren participated in many different sports, resulting in him having quite a large rap sheet of achievements. AFL and rugby league was the two sports in which Darren took most interest in at a young age. Over a career spanning from 1995 to 2011, Darren accomplished a lot in the NRL. Darren got the title of captain for his club, as well as the state, as well as the national team. Darren as a captain achieved several series wins for the Maroons, as well as picked up one title as the captain for the Broncos. He led the Kangaroos to many important victories, but that was just his team achievements. His personal portfolio is quite large as well, with him winning 3 Dally M Fullback Awards, 3 Dally M 5'8" Awards, 2 International Player of the Year Awards, and 2 Golden Boots Awards. Some of us have tied him to be one of the greats for Joey Johns. Darren also made team history by scoring the most points for the Brisbane club, having the most appearances for the club, as well as achieving the most games for one single club, setting the record. the most points. Scoring a try is the most effective way to score. A try is when the player puts the ball down in the end zone and receives 4 points. An extra 2 points can be gained by successfully kicking the ball between the goalposts. In regard to the formatting of the game and developing Darren's skills or maintaining them, I have made a bit of a conclusion from the information I have gathered. In my opinion, I have to agree that the NRL has the right formatting for skill development. In the NRL, the game isn't typically different or structurally different for the lower grades and or age groups under the NRL. Therefore, I believe he knew what it took, and there was no differences in the rules, structure, or time. When he made it to the NRL, his skills would have had to evolve when he entered the league as well as over the span of his career. The coaches would have helped him develop his game and create pathways for him to succeed on. With Darren playing at the NRL level, his skills were able to be fully used, this reflecting his achievements. The sport organisation that Darren had been involved with over the span of his career were all seen to help him. The NRL being a game where many different sizes of players are used, Darren was able to fit into a position. Darren was only 180 centimetres tall and weighed only 84 kilograms, but was considered to be a good size to play fullback and 5'8". The NRL would have trained the people who worked for the club, being the Brisbane club, the standard that the NRL wanted for the players. The coaches, management, and all those in connection with the club would have all been trained or had the knowledge to comply with the NRL. The NRL took these methods to maintain the safety and well-being of the professional in and outside of the game. Darren would have been trained well and had the knowledge to play the game safely and not become or be a hazard in the game. The NRL also accommodated Darren by having the structure in place. Darren knew his responsibilities in both positions he played. In regards to the club as an organisation, they realised he was a small player. They figured out he could thrive best in fullback and 5'8" positions. When the organisation decided to switch his positions, the club had the coaches needed for helping develop the extra skills. They also made sure he could safely and effectively play the positions he held. I'll also make a mention to the other sports Darren played at a young age, those being AFL and track and field. With AFL being a running game, Darren was able to fit into that game because of the AFL structure and his size. With the track and field organisations, we can just draw the conclusion from Darren being a sporty and active person. Darren also had other factors that helped him become a big star of the game. The media also played a part in his fame. His agent can be seen as the reason for this extra fame. His agent helped him gain his sponsorships as well as maximise the deals he got from the Brisbane club. The first major sponsor Darren got led to him becoming the most marketable player for that company, and still to this day. That company is Nike. My personal opinion is good. With the author of the book being Darren Lockyer, he does go quite into depth about his pathway to the NRL, and then his development as a player, as well as the challenges he faced before he made his name what it is today and after he got his fame. It felt like the book reflected him, and it felt like you were in his shoes almost. From my observation, I don't think Darren knew much or thought much about sport delivery systems when he was writing this book. In doing this project, I have learnt a lot. I've learnt a lot about Darren Lockyer as a player as well as the sport delivery systems and how they may be used. When I started looking at the work, I thought Darren had only used the sport delivery systems in regard to being scouted, but I have learnt that the formatting of the game, his agents, coaches, all created pathways for him as well, this leading to him developing more skills. The structure of the game and the way it accommodates for people who play in the physically demanding art game can also be seen as a sport delivery system. Darren can be viewed as an example of how sport delivery systems help. He was scouted to play at a level in which his skills could match and which he could thrive in. He had continued development from his coaches, which all led to him creating bigger pathways for himself. This then led to him becoming captain of the club, the state, as well as the national team. He also earned many trophies for those respective teams. In my opinion, sport delivery systems can be effective, as we can see in Darren Lockyer's case. They are around. Thank you.